On the vast blue planet, the ocean has always been the most mysterious and fertile frontier of human civilization. It covers 71% of the Earth's surface, nurturing over 2.5 million known species and countless unknown forms of life, forming a complex and intricate ecosystem. This system, after billions of years of evolution, has reached a dynamic equilibrium. However, since the Industrial Revolution, human activities have been breaking this ancient balance with unprecedented scale and intensity. Among them, a creature known for its unparalleled intelligence, 3 surging hearts, and almost magical camouflage ability, octopus, is transforming from a symbol of ocean intelligence to a key player in a global ecological upheaval. In recent years, an unprecedented phenomenon has been quietly unfolding and accelerating in multiple seas around the world. Octopuses, which we once regarded as treasures, are now posing as invaders and causing ecological waves in non-native waters. This is not a scene from a science fiction movie, but a real, secretive war that concerns the future of the global marine ecosystem. This article will deeply analyze the phenomenon, causes, and impacts of octopus invasion from a scientific perspective. Through 2 detailed real cases and extending to a broader ecological and economic background, it will reveal the profound ecological and cultural warnings behind this phenomenon. Octopuses, as outstanding members of the cephalopod class, belong to the order Octopoda in the phylum Mollusca. Due to its high protein, low-fat nutritional value, and rich trace elements such as taurine, zinc, and selenium, it occupies a prestigious position in the global food landscape. From the octopus sashimi in high-end sushi restaurants in Tokyo to the fragrant pulpo alla gallega in street pubs in Madrid, it has transformed from an ordinary marine creature to the ocean platinum pursued by diners worldwide. Its fishing industry once created a modern gold rush myth where 25 tons of fish caught overnight transformed into nearly $900,000 worth of wealth through the global trade chain. The fate of octopuses can be described as a dramatic economic comeback, from being seen as a byproduct of fisheries as marine litter to becoming a luxury dining table worldwide. However, under this magnificent global economic feast, the underlying logic of marine ecosystems is quietly being rewritten. The dual effects of global climate change and human activities are like 2 invisible giant hands, washing away the distribution map of marine life. Some specific species of octopuses, especially the European giant octopus and the American red squid, have obtained the key to the gateway to the New World. They are no longer content with their original habitats, but follow changing ocean currents and isotherms to invade new sea areas on a large scale and continuously, such as the coasts of England and the west coast of North America. These ecological opportunists, with strong environmental adaptability, astonishing reproductive potential, and high intelligence are posing unprecedented challenges to local biodiversity, fisheries economy, and even the structure and function of the entire marine ecological chain. This invasion is a complex paradox. It is both a result of ecological imbalance and a cause of further destruction. It not only provides short-term economic opportunities for some groups of people, but also poses an ecological threat to the long-term well-being of the entire human society. We cannot help but ask, is this another form of retaliation by the ocean against human overfishing, or is it the strongest and most specific warning issued by ecosystems under global environmental change? To understand why octopuses can become successful invaders, we must delve into their evolutionary history and analyze their astonishing biological traits. These traits are the weapons forged by them in the hundreds of millions of years of arms race, and in today's rapidly changing environment, they have become the capital for them to expand their territory. Octopuses have the most developed brain among invertebrates, with approximately 500 million neurons, comparable to dogs, but their neural structure is uniquely distributed. More than half of the neurons are distributed in the 8 arms and legs, forming a distributed intelligence system. This enables their arms and legs to independently process information, perform complex exploration and manipulation tasks without constantly passing through the central brain. They have excellent problem-solving abilities, can use tools, navigate complex mazes, and possess long-term memory. The famous Octopus Paul, predicting the World Cup, although humorous, reflects the public's recognition of its wisdom. In scientific experiments, they can learn to unscrew bottle caps to obtain food, and even observe and imitate similar behaviors. This high intelligence and strong learning ability means that invading octopuses can quickly assess new environments, identify new prey, avoid new predators, and find ideal habitats. Their environmental adaptation efficiency is far from comparable to that of ordinary marine organisms. The skin of an octopus is a dynamic display screen, covered with millions of multi-layered optical organs called pigment cells, iris cells, and white blood cells. Through precise neural control, they can change color, pattern, brightness, and even the three-dimensional texture of the skin surface in milliseconds, achieving perfect integration with the surrounding environment. This is not only the top-level ambush hunting strategy, but also the ultimate weapon for avoiding risks and lurking in new environments. In addition, the ability to spray ink not only provides physical shielding, but also contains tyrosinase that can interfere with the chemical sensing of predators, making it a chemical smoke bomb. Some types of octopus ink also contain psychoactive substances that can further confuse enemies. When all these methods fail, their astonishing flexibility allows them to pass through gaps only slightly larger than a beak-shaped mouth, and wrist amputation is also a common strategy for survival. The life history strategy of octopuses is unique in the animal kingdom and can be seen as a mixture of R selection and K selection. On the one hand, most octopuses only reproduce once in their lifetime, and females will devote all their energy to guarding the eggs until they hatch. During this period, they will no longer eat and eventually die from exhaustion. On the other hand, in order to compensate for this one-time reproductive mode, they have evolved extremely high reproductive output. A female European giant octopus can lay 100,000 to 500,000 eggs at once, ensuring a huge number of her offspring. In a new environment with suitable water temperature and abundant food, this high-input, high-return gambler strategy can cause its population to explode exponentially without the control of natural enemies, quickly occupying ecological niches. Octopuses are typical opportunistic predators, with an extremely diverse diet that covers almost all invertebrates and fish they can subdue, including crustaceans such as crabs, lobsters, shellfish such as clams, oysters, gastropods, fish, and even other cephalopods. Their powerful, suction cup-covered arms and feet can firmly control their prey, then use neurotoxins and digestive enzymes secreted by their salivary glands to paralyze the prey and soften tissues, and finally use chitin-hard jaws similar to parrot beaks to drill open shells. When invading a new environment, this omnivorous characteristic allows them to quickly utilize various local organisms as food sources and may cause devastating impacts on key species in the area, triggering a nutritional cascade effect and reshaping the entire ecological community. It is these biological superpowers, forged through long-term evolution, that have laid a solid foundation for octopuses to successfully invade and proliferate in today's changing world. The invasion of octopuses is not an isolated or accidental event, but an inevitable result formed by the interweaving and coordinated driving of multiple global environmental change factors. This is a typical case of perfect storm. The rise in global seawater temperature is the most central driving force among them. According to the report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, the global upper ocean heat content is continuously increasing, and the average surface water temperature has risen by more than 1 degree Celsius. Many temperate seas, such as the waters surrounding the UK and the west coast of North America, are warming at a rate 2 to 3 times the global average. This provides a thermal bridge for the European giant octopus and American red squid, which originally inhabit warmer waters, to expand northward and towards the polar regions. The increase in temperature not only directly expands their physiological habitable range, but may also accelerate their growth and sexual maturation process by affecting their metabolic rate. As ectothermic animals, metabolic rate accelerates with increasing temperature, thereby shortening generation time and further accelerating population expansion rate. In addition, large-scale changes in ocean circulation patterns caused by climate change, such as weakening or path deviation of the Gulf Stream and North Atlantic Current, and changes in upwelling systems can carry octopus planktonic larvae to new homes that were previously inaccessible hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away. Human activities, especially industrial overfishing, have unintentionally played the role of scavengers for octopus invasions. In many marine areas, destructive fishing methods such as bottom trawling not only capture target fish species, but also remove a large number of octopus's main natural enemies, such as large bottom-dwelling fish, rays, sharks, and competitors, such as fish that also feed on benthic invertebrates, in their natural state. This predator release effect and competition release effect make the invading octopus population feel like they have entered a no man's land in a new environment, lacking natural population control mechanisms, and can reproduce and expand almost unrestricted. They agilely filled the ecological niche vacuum left by human greed, transforming from passive survivors to active and dominant ecological colonizers. The development of coastal areas, port construction, laying of artificial reefs, and layout of submarine cables may inadvertently create new, high-quality habitats and shelters for octopuses. At the same time, nutrient emissions from agriculture and urban life lead to eutrophication of coastal waters, sometimes causing algal blooms. Their sedimentation and decomposition processes may alter benthic ecology, indirectly creating favorable conditions for certain octopus species. These factors, physical, temperature, ocean currents, biological, predation, competition, and anthropogenic, habitat modification, interweave and reinforce each other, together forming a complex global dynamic network that drives octopus invasion. In recent years, the British waters, especially the southern and southwestern coasts of England and the Irish Sea, have become the forefront of European giant octopus invasions and a hotspot for scientific research. The European giant octopus, as one of the largest octopus species in the world, has a wrist and foot span of up to 3 meters and a weight of over 25 kilograms. In history, their distribution centers were located in the warm waters of the Mediterranean and Northeast Atlantic, such as the Azores and Madeira Islands, while the population in the North Atlantic was usually bounded to the north near the South British Isles. However, according to data from the Met Office Hadley Centre in the UK, since the 1980s, sea surface temperatures in the North Atlantic, particularly in the Celtic Sea, Irish Sea, and English Channel, have continued to rise, with warming rates significantly higher than the global ocean average over the past 4 decades. The key threshold of 1 to 2 degrees Celsius has been exceeded, which is enough to open the door to ecology and make these temperate waters friendly enough to European giant octopuses in winter. Invasion process, ecological and socio-economic impacts. Systematic eyewitness reports have surged, from Cornwall and Devon to the Welsh coast, and even parts of northern Scotland. Fishermen, recreational divers, marine biologists, and citizen science projects have reported a significant increase in the frequency and number of encounters with European giant octopuses in the past 2 decades. Individuals that were previously considered rare visitors have now become common in lobster cages, rocky reef areas, seagrass beds, and even near harbor breakwaters. Fishermen have found that their shrimp and crab traps are no longer safe hunting grounds, but have become self-service restaurants for octopuses. Direct impact on local fisheries and economic paradox. British waters are renowned for their high-quality brown crabs, spider crabs, and European lobsters, which make up a multi-billion-pound fishing industry. And these 2 types of crustaceans are the favorite delicacies of giant octopuses in Europe. Research shows that in areas where octopuses are active, crab and lobster traps placed on the seabed are frequently visited, and the bait and catch inside are looted by octopuses. Fishing gear is also often destroyed. This has caused direct economic losses to coastal communities that rely on these fisheries. However, a paradox arose. Some fishermen began to turn to fishing for these invasive octopuses because of the strong demand for octopuses in the market and their high prices. This makes invasive species themselves a new and sometimes even more profitable fishery resource, blurring their identity as pests and potentially complicating management strategies. Potential disturbances and long-term risks in the ecological chain. Crabs and lobsters play the roles of scavengers and key species in marine ecology. The sharp decrease in their numbers may trigger a series of chain reactions. For example, crabs feed on carrion and certain benthic organisms, and their reduction may lead to the accumulation of seabed debris, altering the chemical environment of the sediment. Lobsters control the number of herbivores such as sea urchins, and the outbreak of sea urchins may excessively feed on large seaweed, leading to the degradation of seaweed forests into barren, sea urchin wastelands, thereby destroying the habitats of fish and other invertebrates. The invasion of giant octopuses in Europe is like a stone thrown into a complex network, and its ripple effect may reshape the ecological structure of the entire underwater community, with unpredictable long-term consequences. This case in the UK clearly demonstrates how sustained climate change can open up stable northward pathways for dominant species and directly impact the local core economy and ecological foundation. It is a model of slow-cooking ecological change with warm water. The invasion of octopuses has created an extremely complex and contradictory socio-economic reality. It forces humans to make difficult choices between short-term benefits and long-term sustainability when facing ecological crises. Fishermen's adaptation, risks, and opportunities. As vividly depicted in the documentary, octopus fishing itself is a profession full of blood, sweat, and life-threatening risks. In the turbulent invasion waters, such as the North Atlantic or North Pacific, fishermen not only have to fight against unpredictable winds and waves, slippery and cold decks, and taut steel cables, but also adapt to new fishing targets and operating methods. Capturing octopuses with high intelligence and strength requires different skills and equipment than fishing for fish. Every time the internet is launched, it is still a gamble of life and death. However, the emergence of invasive species has also brought new livelihoods. Some fishermen who originally focused on crabs and lobsters have had to become octopus fishermen due to reduced traditional catches or market profit drivers. This transformation of livelihoods is full of uncertainty, but it also reflects the resilience of coastal communities in the face of environmental changes. The value arena of fishing ports and the penetration of global capital. When fishing boats loaded with invading octopuses dock, these creatures are quickly drawn into the global capital circulation chain. In the auction market of fishing ports, they are no longer just seafood, but are being competed for by local, national, and even international buyers like commodities or precious metals. A 25-ton catch can be instantly converted into nearly $900,000 in cash flow, a huge sum of money enough to sustain economic activity in a coastal town for several months. However, the realization of this value highly relies on the stability of the global market and consumer preferences, making the local economy closely tied to distant international demand and more fragile. The amplification effect and responsibility dispersion of global value chains. However, the true value of these octopuses goes far beyond the shore price. Through a globalized cold chain logistics system, they are loaded into refrigerated containers, transported across oceans, and shipped to international consumer hubs such as Tokyo Tsukiji Market, Seoul Luliangjin Aquatic Products Market, or Madrid's Mercamadrid. In high-end restaurants, the price of a plate of exquisite octopus sashimi or an authentic pulpo alla gallega has been several times or even dozens of times of the onshore price after the chef's ingenuity and brand packaging. From the cold and dangerous ship deck to the luxurious banquet table with soft lighting and melodious music, the octopus has completed a fantastic drifting of value, and every step is accompanied by a doubling of profits and continuous externalization of environmental costs. When end consumers enjoy delicious food, they hardly associate it with the background of ecological invasion, the hardships of fishermen, or the disorder of the ocean system behind it. The paradox of making money while suffering from disasters, and the dispersed responsibility caused by the long value chain greatly blur the boundaries of ecological crisis, making it difficult for society to form a unified and firm response stance when facing the serious problem of invasion. Short-term economic benefits may obscure the risk of long-term ecological collapse, forming a collective unconscious of a feast on the Titanic. Faced with the complex challenges brought by octopus invasion, we need to re-examine and reconstruct its economic value system, and explore sustainable management paths. This chapter will look forward to future solutions to the octopus problem, from technological innovation to management strategies, from market mechanisms to global governance. Technological innovation and management strategies for sustainable fishing. The traditional octopus fishing method is often accompanied by high bycatch and ecological damage, and there is an urgent need for technological innovation. The development of selective fishing gear, such as improved octopus pots, can significantly reduce the capture of non-target species while protecting juvenile octopus resources. These specially designed traps utilize octopus's exploration habits to design entrances, allowing individuals who do not meet the standards to escape, ensuring the sustainable reproduction of the population. Adaptive management based on ecosystems requires us to establish a dynamic fishing quota system that not only considers the status of octopus populations themselves, but also comprehensively evaluates their impact on the entire ecosystem. The closure of seasons and the establishment of marine protected areas, especially in octopus breeding and juvenile development areas, will provide critical shelter for population recovery. Scientists are exploring the use of artificial intelligence and remote sensing technology to monitor the dynamics of octopus populations. By analyzing underwater images and environmental DNA, EDNA, accurate assessments of the size and distribution range of invasive octopus populations can be achieved, providing scientific basis for management decisions. Value chain restructuring and market mechanism innovation. The sustainable development of octopus economy requires the reconstruction of the entire value chain. Ecological certification and labeling programs, such as MSC's Sustainable Octopus Certification, can help consumers make environmentally friendly choices while providing market premiums for fishermen who follow best practices. The application of blockchain technology can establish a fully traceable system from fishing boats to dining tables, allowing consumers to scan QR codes to understand the location, time, method, and even fisherman information of octopus fishing, enhancing market transparency. Innovation in pricing mechanisms, such as differentiated pricing based on octopus size, fishing methods, and ecological impact, can incentivize sustainable fishing behavior. At the same time, it is necessary to develop alternative seafood markets to guide consumers towards species with similar nutrition but less ecological impact, and alleviate excessive dependence on octopuses. Innovative pathways for invasive species management. For established invasive octopus populations, management strategies require innovative thinking. Ecological-based prevention and control methods, such as restoring local predator populations, rebuilding healthy marine food webs, and utilizing natural mechanisms to control invasive octopus populations. Targeted fishing as a control tool to remove invasive octopuses in specific ecologically sensitive areas and protect critical habitats. Scientists are also exploring the use of octopus pheromones or other behavioral regulation methods to interfere with their reproduction or drive them away from specific areas. These biological control methods are still in the experimental stage but have promising prospects. Citizen science projects can significantly expand the monitoring scope, train divers and fishermen to record octopus observation data, and provide support for early warning and rapid response. Global governance and policy coordination. Octopus invasion is a cross-border issue that requires a global policy response. International cooperation agreements, such as establishing a multilateral framework for octopus management and research through regional fisheries management organizations, are crucial for sharing data and coordinating management measures. Incorporate octopus invasion into the National Climate Change Adaptation Plan, recognize its role as an indicator of changes in marine ecosystems, and develop corresponding response strategies. It is equally important to develop tailored management strategies based on regional management methods, taking into account the specific ecological and socio-economic conditions of different sea areas, rather than a one-size-fits-all solution. Support the transformation of coastal communities and assist those whose livelihoods are affected by octopus invasion in developing alternative sources of income, such as ecotourism, sustainable aquaculture, or value-added product processing, to reduce dependence on a single resource. The core role of science and education. Ultimately, solving the problem of octopus invasion cannot be achieved without a solid scientific foundation and increased public awareness. It is necessary to strengthen interdisciplinary research, integrate marine ecology, fisheries science, economics, and social sciences, and comprehensively understand the driving factors and impacts of octopus invasion. Invest in long-term research on octopus biology and ecology, especially its population dynamics and adaptability in the context of climate change. Raise public awareness of marine invasive species and cultivate ecological consumption concepts through documentaries, museum exhibitions, and media coverage. Incorporate the concepts of marine ecology and sustainable fisheries into school curricula to cultivate the next generation's understanding and sense of responsibility for ocean management. The challenge of octopus invasion, although severe, also provides us with an opportunity to rethink the relationship between humans and the ocean. Through scientific innovation, management reform, market transformation, and global cooperation, we have the potential to transform the current crisis into an opportunity to promote sustainable development of the ocean. This requires us to go beyond traditional resource management thinking and embrace a more comprehensive, adaptive, and forward-looking ocean governance model that respects ecological limits while ensuring human well-being. In this process, octopuses, intelligent creatures with 3 hearts, may not only be a part of the problem, but also a revelation that leads us towards a more sustainable future. The invasion and proliferation of octopuses is a complex and multifaceted global environmental issue. It is not only the result of the combined effects of climate change and historic overfishing, but also a cause that further disrupts local ecology and impacts traditional economies. It has brought temporary economic benefits to some populations through the global trade network, while posing long-term and profound threats to the livelihoods, biodiversity, and ecological security of the entire planet for others. This deeply analyzed real-life case tells us with ironclad facts and detailed scientific observations that the balance of the ocean is more delicate and fragile than we imagine. The giving of the ocean is not infinite. When its buffering and regulating capabilities are pushed to the limit or even to the brink of collapse by human activities, the feedback given to humans will not only be the depletion of specific fishery resources, but also the chaos, disorder, and loss of services of the entire ecosystem. In the end, what we are facing is not a simple technical problem of how to eliminate or control invading octopuses, but a fundamental philosophical and governance issue related to how human civilization can coexist harmoniously with natural systems. It requires us to go beyond short-sighted economic calculations and scattered environmental measures, and establish a new ocean governance system based on ecological integrity, warning principles, and adaptive management. This includes strengthening global cooperation and scientific monitoring, establishing an international marine biological invasion monitoring network, sharing data, and early warning. Implementing ecosystem-based management, shifting management focus from individual species to the entire ecosystem, rebuilding food webs, and protecting key species and habitats. Reforming economic models and accountability mechanisms, internalizing ecological costs, promoting sustainable seafood consumption, establishing traceable supply chains, and allowing consumers and businesses to share responsibility. Actively addressing climate change, fundamentally slowing down the global warming trend that drives invasion. This is the ultimate path to solving all related ocean problems. Otherwise, the question echoing in the deep sea and the hearts of the wise will no longer be just an alarming warning, but a cold portrayal of our future reality. Are we developing the ocean or sucking its last breath? The answer is not written by the ocean, but depends on humanity's current cognition, courage, and actions. It will determine the future color of our blue planet, and ultimately determine the direction and destination of our own civilization. The ocean may never stop giving, but humans must learn when to stop greedily taking and start giving back wisely.